Although VidCon just happened, I'm already finding it difficult to describe. And in a word, I guess VidCon was just that, indescribable. Throughout the event, the main tubers would talk about how fleeting the convention was, how quickly it'd be over, and how, once it was, we'd have to return to our normal lives. The morning after the last concert, I kept finding myself looking out the hotel window, hoping that the small group of YouTubers that happened to stick around but didn't go to Disney Day would suddenly amass, and VidCon could continue for just a little bit longer. I realized then that it wasn't so much the convention itself that I would miss, it was the people attending it. Ironically, neither Jerry or I talked to many of these people. This being a gathering of internet folk, most of us are introverts who find it easier to talk to a camera than a real human being. And yet, it didn't feel like anything really needed to be said. Just being surrounded by all these people, even if we didn't talk directly to them, instilled the same feeling of connection that spending endless hours on the internet seems to bring. Everyone here is of a like mind. We might not subscribe to all the same channels, but we all came to VidCon because of our love of YouTube and other geeky pursuits. It felt very much like I'd imagined the first few Comic-Cons felt like. A community of people coming together to celebrate a shared interest that we are all extremely passionate about. VidCon is something you really have to experience for yourself. I can talk at length about what actually happened while we were there. I could tell you about the countless vlogs that we were accidentally a part of, or even how we got to be in a movie, and how talking to a camera in the middle of a crowded room of people was one of the most normal happenings at the convention. I could talk about how we got production tips from Freddie Wong, and how we saw epic rap battles performed live, and George Watsky crowd surfing right in front of us. Or I could tell you how VidCon was an experience I will never forget, and one I desperately didn't want to end. But while I can recount the actual events that took place, I cannot describe the feeling VidCon gave its attendants, the sense of community and belonging. In the end, the Green Brothers, Shay Carl, and all the other YouTubers who talked to us were absolutely right. These past days were some of the best we'd ever had, and because of all the fantastic experiences VidCon provided us, we now need to find a way to go about our lives until the next gathering comes around. I now have a VidCon-shaped hole in my heart, as I'm sure many of the other attendants have, and though I know it will only be filled once a year, I'd much rather have the hole than have not had the experience at all. After all this rambling, the only thing I can say for certain is that I'd like to become more a part of this crazy YouTube community, and that I will most certainly be meeting it again at the next VidCon.